Hi, everyone. When I was studying philosophy in university, one of my one of my professors mentioned an effort to translate John Locke and other English philosophers into English. Of course, I read them in the original English. Uh, One sec, I have some links to share. The blog Philosophy Bro translates philosophy into a specific dialect of modern English. Bro. Today, let's see how that turns out with Peter Singer's famous paper, Famine, Affluence, and Morality, which Jeffrey Kaplan calls the most controversial ethics paper ever written. I'll be available after the talk for any needed translations back into our more common dialect of English. Feel free to ask. All right, let's dive in. Hey, so suffering is bad, right? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just assume that for some reason, starving to death and freezing to death and having a disease to death are all bad things. I'm not going to argue for that shit. But if you need some argument about whether those are bad or not, well, fuck you, I guess. And if I can stop some bad shit from happening without giving up anything important, I mean, nothing really important, then I should do it, right? Like, let's say I'm on my way to a bitchin' party and I'm looking fly as shit and I smell good because you already know. And I've got a 30 rack of natty because I'm goddamn if I'm going to show up to it empty-handed to this house I'm about to burn down. Once I get over this bridge and turn the corner, I've arrived, and so has the party. Except I hear a bunch of splashing, and I look over the bridge into the river, and fuck me, there's a kid flailing around and calling for help, like he's drowning for some reason instead of handling his shit like an adult. I should save his life, right? Sometimes in philosophy, we like to ask obvious questions and waggle our eyebrows suggestively, like, maybe you don't exist after all, hmm? But bro, this is not one of those times. I should obviously jump in and save this fucking child's life. So I ruin a polo, and I don't smell good anymore, and a couple of the beers explode because I dropped them. Who gives a shit, right? The child was going to die. Can you imagine what a tremendous asshole I'd have to be not to save the kid? Like, imagine that conversation. Oh, you brought beer. Yeah, bro, I wouldn't let anything stop me, not even the child who literally drowned on the way over here. Wait, what? Yeah, I let a child drown to death, but I brought beer. But a child died. Sure, but beer. Plus, I smell good. Who's DJing tonight? But a child died. Agree to disagree? No fucking way. Fuck me, right? I think we can all agree that if I can save a child for the low, low cost of who gives a shit, it was just some beers and a shirt and a weird smell. I should save the child. Not saving the child makes me the actual worst, most selfish person. And what if the child is farther away, but I can still save him? Like, maybe the next morning I'm stumbling home from the party and with my friend, and I'm carrying the now empty keg we killed when way downstream I see another kid drowning. I'm in no condition to swim that far, but I know that if I throw this empty keg in, it'll float to him, and he'll be able to grab onto it and float to safety. Obviously, I should throw the keg in, right? Again, obviously. If my friend is like, fuck him, he's kind of far away, I'd be like, yeah, but we could still save him. This plan is going to work. And he's like, oh, I know it'll work. I'm just saying, even if I know it's going to work, any more than like a football field away, and I don't give a shit. Like, fuck that guy, right? How did I become friends with such a trash hat? It doesn't matter that he's farther away. I can still prevent a child from dying a horrible death. And all it costs me is I have to be like, sorry, we had to use the keg to save a life, but we can just buy another one. So everyone agrees then. Who gives a shit how far away he is, right? If I can save a child's life for the low, low cost of still who gives a shit, I should save him. And maybe next weekend I'm going back to the same house for another party. And this time I've got like 5 of my bros with me because it was so sick last time, even though I smelled like river water. And we're crossing Look Out for Drowning Kids Bridge. And this time I hear 5 kids drowning. Fuck me. It's like someone told a class of first graders there's candy on the bottom of this river or some shit. So I jump in and I drag the first kid to the bank. I look up and I see that no one else has moved. My bros are all on their phones, checking social media or texting, "Hey, you up?" like it's ever worked once. Why are all my friends such unmitigated dickholes? What life choices brought me here? No time to worry about that because there's another kid drowning, and I can't be like, "Oh, no one else is going to do anything?" All right, well, I did my part. Sorry, kids. It was 1 kid per bro, plus 1 left over. Not my problem anymore. Fuck that. I should save as many of the kids as I can, and then get better friends. So we all agree. Who gives a shit if a bunch of other people are standing around with their dicks in their hands, right? If I can save several children's lives for the low, low cost of seriously, still, who gives a shit? I should save them. At this point, I'd like to point out, got you, bitch. Just to recap, if you can save a life and give up nothing important, it doesn't matter how far away that life is, or how many other people could also save a life. You should save that fucking life. What if I told you that for $5, you could buy a life-saving vaccine for a child? Sure, he's far away. We already agreed. Who gives a shit, right? It'll still save his life, and it only costs you not having a 5th drink at the bar on a Thursday. Remember that $300 bar receipt you posted with the caption, "Just another Thursday night wearing matching plaid with my bros. We're special and impressive and are the actual 6 dudes with the biggest dicks. Unlike all you other overconfidences of bros who think that. Well, guess what? It's us." You remember that? What you were really saying was, I routinely pass up the chance to save 24 lives with science so that I can black out and pretend that I like myself for a night. That's fucked up, bro. And sure, literally everyone else in the bar was also passing up the chance to save a child's life. That doesn't let you off the hook, right? Step up and do the right thing. What's the worst that can happen? People give too much money and then no one starves to death, but also not everyone has the car they want? That would be terrible, wouldn't it? God forbid we solve poverty too hard. Or sorry, no, fuck you. That's a risk worth taking since it might mean no one starves to death. Right now, all over the world, literally hundreds of thousands of children are living in situations that are totally fucked. And even though you're far as shit from them, you can save their lives. For like $3, you could buy a shitty rum and coke, or you could buy a mosquito net that helps prevent children from getting malaria. And as we've already agreed, who gives a shit that these kids live far away, or that lots of other people could buy the net too? Neither distance nor the number of people standing around has anything to do with whether you should save their lives or not. That's what's fucking crazy. We all have so much shit we don't need. This isn't about sell your house and live in a monastery. Maybe you should do that, but we don't even have to have that talk right now. All I'm saying is that if you agree that it's shitty to let a child die to protect a case of beer and a shirt, then it's weird that you buy a top of the line TV when, for the same amount of money, you could buy a smaller, ridiculously huge TV and also feed 2 fucking villages. Here's the situation, an actual situation in the real world right now, as you shop online or make plans to go out with your bros tonight. Somewhere, a child is hungry, and even though he is very far away, he will still be alive in a week if you give $5. If you instead spend that $5 on a drink or a shirt, He will have starved to death. And you will have a drink or a shirt. So let me ask you, how badly do you want that drink or that shirt? That's all for the blog post. At this point, I'd like to point out that the author of the original paper, Peter Singer, is described as the intellectual godfather of effective altruism, which is about honoring the instinct of kindness as best we can by combining the head with the heart so that our charitable donations can do the most good they can possibly do. I won't be doing a deep dive into effective altruism today. I asked the Seattle Effective Altruists for a recommendation for those who prefer a book-length introduction, and the recommendation was Peter Singer's book, The Life You Can Save, which is available for free as an ebook on its website, as well as in paperback wherever books are sold. If you feel called by your heart and convinced enough by your head that this is the way to go, I urge you to make a donation to one of the top charities listed on givewell.org. GiveWell is the gold standard for giving. Their recommendations are the result of tons of research every year. Only very few charities meet their high standards, and they're transparent about their process and their reasoning, including their mistakes. If you want to make things as easy as possible, you can donate to their top charities fund instead of figuring out which individual charity to donate to, kind of like investing in a mutual fund instead of trying to pick individual stocks. And that's where I'll leave it for today.